Hello. I can see already like
the echoing, you need to off your streaming sound.
hello.
Didn't go to plan. A young Hans-Jörg Gerber knew things could be better. And so begins a journey. From there, Hans-Jörg Gerber knew things could be better. And so
You need to
begins
off
a
your
journey.
sound.
From there, Hans-Jörg Gerber knew things could be better. And so
You need to
begins
off
a
your
journey.
sound.
When a demo didn't go to plan, a young Hans-Jörg Gerber knew things could be better.
Off your sound.
And so begins a journey. A young Hans-Jörg Gerber knew things could be better.
Off your sound.
And so begins a journey. A young Hans-Jörg Gerber knew things could be better. And so begins a journey. A young Hans-Jörg Gerber knew things could be better. And so begins a journey. A young Hans-Jörg Gerber knew things could be better. And so begins a journey. And we kept on going. And we kept on going. And we kept on going. In 1971, Hans-Jörg Gerber created the first Thermomix. If all we wanted was to make a food processor, we would have stopped. Hans-Jörg Gerber created the first. But we wanted to create an extraordinary experience. This is why we would have still going. Then, but we wanted to create an extraordinary experience. Thermomix. This is why we would have still going. Then, but we wanted to create an extraordinary experience. Thermomix. This is why we would have still going. Then, but we wanted to create an Thermomix. This is why we would have still going. Then, but we wanted to create an Thermomix. This is why we would have still going. Then, but we wanted to create.
Actually, the echo sound come from me. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to our live show. This is the first time we're doing a Facebook Live, yeah? So, okay, let me pass. Should we wait for a few more people to come? Yeah? So, if you have anyone who wants to know about Thermomix and have not got a chance to know about it, it's a great time for you to invite them. We can wait for a while, we'll just show you some of the video, and I hope you enjoy the little video now.
Hi, my name is Angel. I'm a mother of 2 sons. I'm a full-time housewife now. Before I became a full-time housewife, I was an event planner. So how I come across this Thermomix? Because there's one day when I browsed through Facebook, and then suddenly one of my friends actually pop up, the image of her cooking using Thermomix. I was like, quite curious about this machine. So I was like, something different from what I have, for now, because I'm using electrical stove. I thought I was in very advanced already, you know. So suddenly this Thermomix come out, I was like, I need to find out more about this. So I decided to call my friends and then go for a demo. So during the demo time, it's really impressed. A simple dish, do it in a very, very fast timing, and then a very precise temperature and everything. They come out, the food is very delicious, seriously. So I decided to order immediately. And well, it proved me correct. When I have this Thermomix, my sons love it. When I actually cook their favorite, you know, mashed potato, they love it so much. You know, the happiest of a mother is like when you see your sons finish the food you prepare. So that's the most satisfaction part. And then besides that, my in-law is a very good cook. So I don't dare to cook in front of them. So there's one day I decided to use the Thermomix to just cook their favorite dish, their favorite dessert, the almond paste. So when they tried it, I still can remember their first expressions till now. They say it's very, very, very nice. I was like so happy at that moment, and then my confidence levels of cooking suddenly just go up like that. I was so happy with this. And one thing I like about this Thermomix, like they've controlled the timing and temperature very, very well. So every dish when I come out is very precise. And I would definitely recommend this for my sister. You know why? Because her cooking actually not really good. So I hope she can actually same like me. You know, when she owns the Thermomix, she can get compliments from the friends and family too.
Hello.
All it takes is one idea for someone to go from being unemployed or an employee to a highly successful business.
All right. So, Sherlyn, you may start now. All right.
Yeah, hello. Pui, by the way, can you check if you are online? Because Tim told me he can't see anything. Anything?
Sorry, this is on live. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So,
All right. I shouldn't be bothered by that then. Just a minute. Let me see. Hi, everyone.
hi.
And we also have Sofia, our special guest today.
Hello everyone. Hello, Sherlyn.
Hello. And let me see. Okay. I think I shall start now. We are at 3:03 on time, and we were figuring out some technical issue earlier, and it was all okay. And this is our first time streaming into Facebook Live. And first of all, let me introduce myself. Can you all see me clearly? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, let me just put myself on the biggest screen right now, then I can see myself. There you go. All right, so it's such a pleasure to have all of you join us today on a Saturday afternoon. I am so excited. I literally just decided to do this very impromptu yesterday, just to give it a try and see, you know, how it goes. And my name is Sherlyn, and I have been the happiest Thermomix user for the past 3 years. I started with the TM5, and then I moved on to the latest model, which is a TM6. And I have two wonderful kids. They are 5 and 1 just turned 8 years old. And I didn't have very good luck with helper, but I was already a very good cook, unlike the lady who do the sharing earlier. So it was so helpful because I have my hands free the whole time when I'm cooking. And I find that when I have the Thermomix, my life has become like so much better because I have more time to be with my kids, and I'm actually a better person overall because I no longer frustrated, worried about things spilling from the wok to my children, you know. So with this machine, in fact, my kids, instead of being whinging or when I'm not getting my attention, they were so intrigued with this machine, right? You tell me how many kids are actually using mobile devices nowadays. They have got no choice. If they're on the PN or they're on the like kindergarten, they have to start Zooming even at this stage. So we have gone from, you know, in the past 2 years is, you know, it's something that we cannot control. So they see this screen, they are very intrigued, and then they wanted to touch, they wanted to do things. So I started doing things with them. And that makes me a better mom because they no longer crying. They help me to put stuff into the machine, and we see the process of cooking. And then when it's cooking, I get to give them a shower and then, you know, read a book to them. And then the for example, if I cook a bolognese, I'll cook it for 35 minutes on the Thermomix, and 35 minutes I can do so many things with the two of them. So you can see how happy I am, because generally my household energy has gotten so much better, because I feel so much better, you know, like at this moment, everyone know that being a woman, we are the pillar of our household, and it's so important to, you know, keep yourself together. And with this Thermomix, really, there is no reason to be stressed when you're cooking. You're our idea. There is more than 78,000 recipes in Cookidoo. You will not be bored. All you need is just a little bit more curiosity, you know, get the ingredients and get started and start cooking. So today, let me tell you, I am cooking one of my favorite gluten-free bread roll, and it's so good. Even my kids love it. You know, every time when you think about gluten-free, it's like a bread that you can throw and hit someone, and that person could actually be injured or something, you know. No, this time this bread roll is so soft, so moist, and it's so delicious. And if you have a dietary requirement that need you to have only gluten-free bread, I can tell you this is so good. And if you're on keto, you can also omit the rice, which actually sweeten the texture, sweeten and also make the texture nicer, softer. But you can actually make gluten-free by replacing it with the almond flour. And that is absolutely another recipe that would just be keto-free in the Cookidoo, okay? If you want the link to the recipe, reach out to me on my WhatsApp or my Facebook, and then I will actually send it to you, okay? So welcome, Dawn. Yeah, someone is in the waiting room, maybe. And secondly, before I start, I just want to thank Puyi. If you see Puyi on the screen, she's actually our founder and the visionary person, a woman who actually brought the Thermomix to Hong Kong. So today she's on a very supportive role to me to help me do this live show, so that, you know, we can get this not only like how amazing this Thermomix is to the community, and also to share why I am so passionate about this machine, okay? So now let me show you, when you get the Thermomix, if you do not subscribe to any of the recipe or the Cookidoo, you get the main screen, time, temperature, and heat, which you already start cooking, no problem at all, you know, don't even need anything. As long as you are a very creative person, you can already start using these three functions to cook something. Now, with the Cookidoo, earlier, to save my time, I actually went to my Cookidoo account on my mobile devices, and then I choose this bread roll and put into cook today under the calendar. So if I go to these three lines, I go to my week, I already planned what I want to cook for you today, which is this, okay, the gluten-free roll. And I'm also cooking a vegetable stew, Indonesian style. We call it the Sayur Lodeh. And that one would be a manual cooking. Manual cooking means I'm referring to a recipe from outsourced recipe, and I will introduce to you who is the author that I'm actually cooking to recipe that I'm actually cooking today. So, but I get on with the gluten-free roll first, okay? Now, because I've saved it into my week, therefore it appeared into my calendar, and you can plan the whole month, not a problem at all. So I'm gonna click in right now. And if you scroll down, you can see all the ingredients that you need. So I'm going to just go to start cooking. So when you press start cooking, that is when it will guide you from the first step all the way to the last step. Now, this is literally for anyone who has no experience of cooking. You don't need to have any prior prerequisite of any skills in cooking. All you need is to have like, you know, pay attention to the instructions. So basically ask me to preheat the oven. I already preheated my oven to 180 degree right now. Hi, Maria. And hello, Maria. And already preheated, so I press next. So ask me to line a large baking sheet with baking paper. So basically I already lined it right here. Just to show you, I'm using a round dish today like this. I have lined it over here, which I'll show you how to do the bread later. And then let's start with rice. Now, with this first function, I have 70 gram of long grain rice. Basically, it's a Thai rice. I'm using the home Mali rice, and you can use any long grain Chinese or jasmine rice that are equally good. Okay, so 70 gram. And now if you look at the guided cooking, the scale will already be called out in the recipe. You don't need to press the function. So now if before you saw that, you know, after I removed the lid, the scale actually gone to a different kind of to 240 something because of the weight of the lid. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just tear it to 0, right? Tear it to 0, and then I'm going to pour in 17 grams of grains. And this one, this grain of rice is actually whole, okay? It's not grinded yet. I'm going to show you how powerful this machine is. And then I'm going to press next. 85 grams of cooking oat. So I have an Australian one. So I do not measure everything prior. I'm going to just show you how I'm going to just be very adventurous. Take all my ingredient out from the kitchen and then pour it in, 85 grams, okay? Slightly more. Let me just take it back out a little bit. That's fine. More or less is fine. And then next, 15 grams of psyllium husk. So I'm using this one from India. I'm at the end of my psyllium husk. Let's see if I have enough. Okay, I don't have enough here. I have another bag right here. So I'm very grateful that these are actually my pantry staples. I know some of you may not have all these ingredients, but you can order from iHerbs or support our local shop, you know. So I shop a lot in my Saigon community and support all the uncles and aunties or shop owners, you know. So 15 grams. So it's really high fiber. So you need to drink a lot of water after eating this bread. So let me just tidy up a little bit. And then we have, so basically ask you to insert your measurement cup and the lid together. All right, I'm going to put these two together next. And I'm going to grind this. It is set in the guided cooking to grind it for 1 minute at speed 10. Okay, speed 10 is the highest speed on the speed function. Okay. Hello, everyone. Okay, 1 minute is over. I'm not sure it was it very loud. So now recipe, for those who just joined me, we are actually making the gluten-free bread rolls that has grain in it, which is the rice grain. Now, who wants to see how the grains look like right now? Okay, just after 1 minute, speed 10. It is all powder rice. Look at that. Did you see the powder? Okay. So this is how it looks like, and it smells really good. Okay, now if I press next, it tells me please scrape down all the flour mixture, as in the grain mixture. Make sure you push down all the ingredients. Okay, just push it down. Now this is really impressive to me, you know, like if for those who don't have the machine, let me show you. This is how it looks like, okay? All right, it's all powder rice and only just 1 minute. All right, so I'm going to just put the bowl back in again and press next. Okay, now we're going to put in two. I always use this double acting baking powder by Red Box Red Mill. So you can find it in the supermarket, or it's cheaper actually on the iHerbs. Okay, so 2 teaspoons. So I got my measurement spoon right here. Now, so, okay, this is another tip. A lot of my clients will ask me, Can I just use normal teaspoon? Of course you can, but baking is actually science. If you have your teaspoon, you might actually put a little bit more or less. So depending on what you're baking or cooking, it could actually affect the outcome, okay? So I'm gonna just use 1 teaspoon using a proper teaspoon, baking teaspoon, and 1 teaspoon and it's flat, okay? So 1 and then 2, okay? And then what do we need to do? Press next, okay? It's that simple. Okay, 1 teaspoon of salt. And I bought Himalayan salt and in a coarse form. And then I use turbo function 4 seconds to mill it into fine sea salt like this. So do not need to buy it fine, pay a little bit less as well. So 1 teaspoon, all right? 1 teaspoon of salt. And next, 3 egg whites, okay, which I already cracked earlier. Right here. So just 3 egg whites. Just pour it on. Three egg whites. And then next, we have 30 grams of apple cider vinegar. This is to activate the baking powder to make it like really fluff and also rise during the baking time, okay? Because if you see there is no rising agent in here, there's no yeast in this recipe, therefore you need a little bit of acidity to help to make the bread rise during the baking. So I'm gonna pour 30 grams, okay? Hello, if you just joined me, I'm cooking gluten-free bread rolls. And then I'm gonna press next. Put in 170 grams warm water, okay, which I already prepared. Now, you do not worry about the warm water, whether or not it's 40 degrees or less than 40 degrees, because we do not have yeast inside there. So 40 to 50 degrees is fine if you're very precise, but otherwise warm water, if you test it's warm, is good enough, okay? So 170 grams of water. Okay, there you go, precise. All right, and then next, insert my lid again. Next, now it's already set. It will blend for me at speed 4 for 10 seconds, okay, just to get the mixture together. It's quite a sticky kind of mess right now inside. Okay, I'll show you. And I'll press next again. It will say keep the measuring cup on, but for just cooking show purpose, I'm going to show you. You can get really worried because it's like a powder mixture, really, really soft. You don't think that you can actually knead it into a bread, right? So I'll show you. The machine actually can help you do kneading function as well. So the next step is already preset for you, because why we are doing guided cooking today, okay? Guided cooking means the machine will teach you how to do first step all the way to until a finished product, okay? So all you need to do is just twist the function button because it's already set for you. Now it's gonna need 3 minutes for me right now, okay? So you have seen how we pulverize the grains only for 1 minute. And I know I have a colleague, Maria, is also our marketing person in Hong Kong. She makes really amazing grain mantou as well. And she used this function to grind her rice and also her almond nuts as well. So it's really, really amazing. So if you have not seen that, make sure to watch the replay again. It's only need 1 minute in order to make your rice into grain itself. So this is how Thermomix can actually save your time to not have to just go out to buy a bag of like rice flour, you know, because you can actually just take the rice that you have existingly in the house and just pulverize it for 1 minute at speed 10, and you'll be able to get the consistency of a powder or flour, okay? So today we are making the gluten-free rolls, and then later I have also Sofia, who is I think her heritage is also from Indonesia. She has an Indonesian background. So today I'm actually showing you, I'm actually taking into consideration asking some of my clients, what would they like to see me cooking? And I decided to cook Sayur Lodeh because she suggested and said that, you know, recently there's a lot of people who just go to the supermarket, you know, purchase all the frozen stuff, the frozen meat, everything is gone. So she's thinking maybe she would cook a little bit more vegetarian options. So Sayur Lodeh is not exactly vegetarian because today I actually put some shrimp paste and also the dry shrimp as well. So, but you can absolutely omit these two items to make it vegetarian, absolutely, because shrimp paste and shrimp, dry shrimp actually just give it a kick of the umami into your curry, you know. So basically it's a very nutritious, it's coconut based, and I believe it is also keto friendly. Yeah, so if you're on a keto journey, you could actually do that, this dish itself. And what else can I share with you right now when it's needing? We have about 45.
Sherlyn,
Yes?
actually I missed out the 2 teaspoons of something. 2 teaspoons of?
2 teaspoons of baking powder.
Maybe you can tell them what is the difference between powder and soda.
Oh, the baking powder, because it's two different agent though. So basically, I think baking soda is to make the bread really more fluffy.
Sherlyn?
Yes.
Don't put your arms on the table. If not, your camera is shaking. Or maybe it's the machine shaking.
It's the machine. It's the machine because I just have my book right there. Yeah. But it's already very stable actually. So yeah, so sorry about that. Now it is done kneading for 3 minutes. I will explain to you what is the difference. Okay. So now let me just show you. I'm going to press next. So basically it will tell you step by step. You really cannot go wrong. Okay. So the dough will be sticky. It already warned you as well. So this is how the dough look like. Okay. Can you see? It's actually quite sticky. Now how to work with this dough, okay? So, and then use the spatula to scrape it out. And then please place a shallow bowl onto the mixing bowl lid. Let me see. Yeah, because you need to also again measure the oats again to do this, which I already have right here. Okay, to just put as a topping. Okay. Now let me just show you how we can work with this dough. Maybe I don't know, Sofia. Maybe can you help me? I remember, if not wrong, baking soda is to really help to expand the dough, but then baking powder is the one that is a rising agent to help your bread or your cake rise up. Okay, so because I cannot remember off my mind
I think baking soda is we use it to do cleaning agent sometimes, right? So
yeah, but I do not use the hammer brand. Okay, that one I don't use it because that one is not the first harvest. Okay, you should actually use only the first harvest of baking soda for your baking needs at home.
I know, so we don't use that one. Baking soda, we use it to do cleaning most of the time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But please don't use the cleaning one. Okay. Buy this brand, is the best. It's a little bit expensive, but it's so good because they are
use that too.
Yeah.
Can I just give a quick explanation of baking powder and baking soda? Baking powder contain acid in it, so it actually, both of them are rising agent, but baking powder on itself can make something rise. Whereas baking soda, you actually need to put something acidic to make it rise because it doesn't have any acidic acid inside the baking soda. That's my understanding.
Thank you, Sofia. That is exactly what I meant when I said we need the apple cider vinegar, right?
Thank you.
Because it is acidity to help it, really rise. So therefore, there is no yeast in this bread. So that's why we need to rely on this, okay? So I'm going to try to scrape up as much as I can. You can see it's actually quite sticky, but don't worry about it. I will teach you a trick on how to work on all the gluten-free and also the the keto bread recipe. Okay, they are all usually very sticky. So I'm going to try a trick and see if I can get the remaining dough out. Okay, so I have some dough that gets stuck right there. I'm going to use a turbo function to help me remove most of the dough because I'm actually quite frugal in this sense. I try to save. Now, I can always exit the recipe. Now, this is another trick. If I go to home button, it will bookmark my existing recipe for me, and it will also stop at where I stopped before, okay? Now I'm gonna swipe to my left, and then this is all the function that comes with the machine. It's amazing. So I'm gonna just use the turbo function. It will spin 10,700 RPM. It's faster than sport car starting. So I'm gonna do 2 seconds. So I change to 2 seconds and I press here and I turn it on. I'm doing that just so that it can help me spin out some of the dough that got stuck. So let's see if this dough will work that way. You can see now it's all on the side. So then I could actually at least scoop up another spoonful of the dough that I can't earlier. Look at that. It's quite a lot, isn't it? Yeah. So that's why I'm frugal that way. It's really a tablespoon, you know. Okay. Now, before I work on the dough, I want to show you another amazing function. What I'm going to do is, who doesn't like a machine that can clean itself, right? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go back to the function, but this time I'm going to choose the pre-clean function. First, I'm going to just put water to cover the blade, okay? It's about just under 1 liter. And then I'm going to just put a small squirt of liquid detergent, just normal pantry liquid detergent. Okay. And then just close it. And then I'm going to just go to pre-clean and I'm going to choose dough, okay? So the machine will wash while I work on the dough. Now you need a little bit of water when working on this sticky dough. And I've already prepared the tray right here. So let me just show you. And shortly after this, I'm so lucky today I have Sofia. She's gonna just quickly show us how we can actually make a nice calamansi drink, okay? So I'm just gonna scoop up like this. It's always good to use a plastic spatula or a plastic dough cutter, okay? Now, what I need to do is that I'm gonna just wet my hand with a little bit of water. So wet your hand and then scoop up this dough and just try to work on it quickly. Just make it round. And then remember, it asks us to weigh 30 grams of the same cooking oat that you used earlier, but in a whole form. I'm going to dip it just in. Dip it in like this, okay? And then remove and put it on the tray. Let me just show you, okay? Just a minute. So I'm going to just put it on the tray like this. Can you see? Okay. So I'm going to just cook another small scoop. Now in the recipe, it asks you to actually divide into 4, but I find it really big. I want to make individual bite size. Everyone can just have one. Wet your hand again, scoop up the dough and work on it quickly, okay? Just try to tuck in all the seams nicely. Make it round. And then again, put into the raw oat or the cooking oat, okay? And then scoop it out like that again, like this, okay? And I'm gonna put it here, all right? So same, every time you work on it, you just take a bit of water to wet your palm, you know? If you work on sourdough, you know what I mean. And Sofia is also the master of Herman starter sourdough, which is amazing. And you wet your hand to work on it because it's really, really wet and sticky otherwise, okay? And get your kids to help you. They are usually, you know, if they are not messing with you, they're usually quite helpful. So, but I don't have my kids with me to do this today. So let's just do this. There you go. So do you have any question on how to make this work? It's pretty simple, right? And it is actually stated in the recipe itself what to do. They actually ask you to also wet your hand. So it's not from me, it's from the machine, okay? So I'm gonna just put this here. And maybe I can let Sofia to actually take over to make the calamansi juice while I'm actually finishing with this dough, okay? And then I'm gonna pop it into the oven for about 50 minutes, 45 to 50 minutes, because I'm making it into 7 or 6 pieces. So it's smaller. So cooking time is actually less. Otherwise, in the recipe, you actually have to bake it for 60 minutes, okay? All right, over to you, Sofia.
Hello. Firstly, I would like to thank you, Sherlyn, for inviting me to join her in her cooking today. And also I would like to thank Pui for hosting this show, which it's gonna be really fun. I was excited about this actually with the dishes that Sherlyn is cooking today, the gluten-free bread, as well as her Sayur Lodeh, which is gonna be a good complement. So I thought that, wow, I'm probably going to do something Southeast Asian drink to complement her dishes. And yeah, today, so I'm going to do calamansi drink. Calamansi is a little this, if you can see it clearly, it's a little kind of like a green lime thing. It's a little very small, right? So okay, where can you find this? This is Hong Kong. I have seen Hong Kong sell at quite a number of places this year itself. You can find them in the market. You can also find them in the Jordan fruit market. They always have it there. So if you see this, don't give it a miss. Buy them, give it a try. It has an amazing aroma. It's pungent, it's lemony, orangey. It's a mixture of flavor. So what it looks like inside, when you cut it out, it looks like this. It has very little juice, but it's super sour. It's a lot more sour than lemon, but it contains a lot of seed. So today I'm going to show you a way how to get this juice and the essential oil from the skin of from the peel of the calamansi fruit. Okay, so it's I guess everybody knows you know, our famous lemonade, which is made by our Thermomix here. It's turbo, 2-second, quick fix. You know, you get a nice lemonade. You can do this with the calamansi. Unfortunately, it won't work quite well because look at the amount of seed it has. These seeds can be bitter. So I'm going to show you another way of getting the juice out and getting the essential oil out of this little calamansi fruit. So you can actually taste a nice flavor aromatic drink without the bitterness because the seeds is actually bitter. This is what makes it bitter. All right, let's start. Very easy. You take about 12 to 13 pieces of this calamansi fruit. When you buy them fresh in the market, they can be quite firm. But after a week, you put them in the fridge. Sometimes it lasts for 2 weeks. If you keep them well, it can be quite soft. All right, it doesn't really matter. As long as they're still green like this, they're good to eat. Right, let's start. Very easy. If you have updated your Cookidoo to 3.0, you will be able to keep or record your recipe inside this machine. And I have done that with this calamansi drink because I make them almost, you know, every other day. So I'll go to home and then you'll click this my recipe or my week. I have bookmarked them so that I want to cook it today. So I'll go to my week and you can see that the items that what I want to cook today, which is this calamansi drink. Right, I'll click on it. If you don't have this, you can do manual. Manual is fine. So you mark down 120 grams of calamansi fruit, which is about 12 to 14 pieces. So right, start cooking now. Right, bring up my scale. Okay, about 120. I've got 13 pieces here, so that's about 130 with this one that I have cut up. Throw them in. So that's about 130. And then next, I have 50 grams of sugar. You can use caster sugar. You can use cane sugar. Here I'm using cane sugar, just a healthier version of sugar. So that goes in. I'm using 50 grams of cane sugar. And then I have cold water from the fridge. 250 grams of cold water. about there. This recipe requires 1 liter of water, but first I'm blending the calamansi with the sugar and the cold water, just 250 grams of it. All right, then next. I will blend this for 15 seconds at speed 4.5. If your calamansi is a bit old, I mean when the skin is quite soft, then you try to use 4 or 4.5. If it's still very freshly bought calamansi, then you use speed 5, right? So speed 4.5. Blend for 15 seconds.
Now, Sofia, I'm going to just throw the bowl.
I can smell the aroma from calamansi blending because the blades is actually cutting through the flesh. And you can see that I didn't cut my calamansi at all, right? Oh, the smell is amazing. I wish you can smell that.
Sophia,
Yes.
Sherlyn want to show her clean.
It's really quick.
Sure.
I just throw away the water. You can see the bowl is quite clean. This is after the pre-clean function, about 5 minutes. So I'm gonna just go give it a rinse and let Sofia finish her drinks, okay? And Annie, welcome to our Zoom cooking show, and I will introduce you later. Thank you. I'll be right back.
Okay, back to you, Sophia.
Welcome, Annie. Welcome. All right, here is the calamansi juice. You can see that, okay? Maybe I'll scoop up some of the fruits. You can see that the fruits are quite chopped up, right? But I want to do an extra step because I want to get some of those essential oil from the skin of the fruit, which is very nutritious for us. There are lots of vitamin C, there are detox item, and that cleans our system, and which is good for our skin too. So, right. So I'm gonna put the rest of the water here, 800 grams. I'm not gonna measure it because I know this one is 1 liter, so it's more or less the same. So that goes in, all of them goes in there. And then I'm gonna bruise those skin of the peel from the fruit because I want to get the oil out, the essential oil out from the fruit. So I'm gonna go for 20 seconds and reverse speed 5. So 20 seconds, reverse speed 5. Right, done. Okay, we've got I can smell it so nice. We've got a very nice drink now. Let me pour it out to show you what we have. You can use this simmering basket as your strainer. Okay. Pour it up into a cup. We not only get the juice, but we get the essential oil from the fruit. You can see the color, how vibrant is that, right? This is all goodness. All right, now I want to show you what we've got on the pulp, because the most important thing, what I'll do is 2 extra steps instead of just turbo 2 seconds, just like what you do with your lemon. I want to show you with this fruit. We want to make sure that the seeds are intact, right? The seeds are intact. I'll be right back. So that we don't get that bitterness from the fruit at all. Yet we get the goodness from the fruit. Right. I'll show you what I've got here. I'll show you if you can see. Look at my seed. My seeds are actually still a whole. The seeds are not crushed, so the juice are not bitter. And this is how you get a beautiful calamansi drink from Thermomix. Thank you.
I love the color, so beautiful.
It is, isn't it? It's so vibrant. I wish you can try them now.
Okay.
Up to you. Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you, Sophia. Here you go.
Okay, all right. It's amazing, isn't it? Like you can actually just blend it and it's so quickly you can make such a vibrant, beautiful colored juice. And basically, you know, it's a showstopper every time when you have friends coming over. If they don't have the machine, they could just do like two-second lemonade, or like, you know, within few seconds, you actually have a beautiful luminescent yellow color. You know, it literally brightened everybody's life and put a joy on the face, right? And if you taste it, and I know Sofia, she would focus on making everything that is healthier option and also low sugar. So unlike like, you know, recipe that will ask for 100 grams of sugar or anything. So give it a try. If you want the recipe, it is on our Facebook group as well. So you can actually share it. Look at the color. Oh my God, Sofia, send some over. Yeah. So, and actually, just right now, I realized that I did not send the correct link to friend Annie. And okay, let me just talk a little bit on the next dish. I'm making the Sayur Lodeh recipe that is actually curated and created by Annie Xavier. So who is Annie Xavier? Annie Xavier is an cookbook author in Malaysia and also a friend. And I am basically very inspired with Thermomix because of her as well, because all the recipe that she has made is actually reminds me of my childhood. You know, most of the things that my grandma cooked, she has actually put it into what you call that, the Thermomix compliance steps. So basically it's all, you can cook everything inclusive of my grandma's whiskey ginger chicken, right? Can you imagine? I am just so in love with everything that is in the cookbooks. Therefore I have all her cookbooks except for the 7 and 8, which after pandemic I cannot travel back, so I don't have that in physical form but online form. So now today I'm cooking a recipe that is generously shared by her and is still not in her any of the cookbook yet. Okay, it's called the Sayur Lodeh. Sayur means vegetables in Malay or Indonesian. So basically we are doing that because I have a client who said, you know, recently that so many people go to the supermarket and then they just clear out the entire freezer and everything. It's hard to get meat and stuff like that, you know. So therefore, can you cook something that is have gravies and have vegetables and is nutritious? So I took that immediately. I just went to Annie Xavier's Sayur Lodeh right away. So traditionally in Indonesia, we Indonesian eat this with lontong. Lontong is a kind of compressed rice. So you cook the rice, you compressed it, and then you cooked it further, you know, so that you can cut into cubes and put inside. But then today we're making it a little bit low carb, so we're using soaked glass noodle, or in Chinese we call it the fancy, you know. So we can use that one. Or you can absolutely omit this as well, because in the recipe itself that it's like tofu and stuff like that, make it really nutritious. So you can see that I have all these ingredients right here. And Annie Xavier is actually joining us on the Zoom as well to be supportive of me. You cannot imagine how I feel right now. I'm just so grateful to have so many people who are so supportive, and for a cookbook author to actually be present right here. Okay, so let me get on with the recipe first, and then once I get to the cookbook, I'll let her just introduce some of her cookbook, you know, and how you can get it on Kobo as well. Now, so basically these are all fresh ingredients, if you can see in this basket. Okay, so I do it this way because it reminds me of home. Haven't been able to go home for almost 3.5 years now, which is really horrible. So now you can see I have 100 grams of shallot. Now, so sorry, let me just, before starting this one, for those who's just joining, I make gluten-free bread roll earlier, and it's been put into the oven for 50 minutes right now. Like, remember, I bookmarked because I wanted to do the cleaning. So the cleaning is done. The bowl is absolutely clean. So I go back to this bookmark. It actually stopped at the step where, you know, I measure the oats and then I next, and then set the bowl aside, and then ask you to scoop the dough into 4 and make sure that your hand is wet, right? So, and then put it into the oven for 60 minutes. So you have already seen how I roll the dough and make sure that your hand is a little bit wet, and then allowed it to cool for 5 minutes on a cooling rack, and then you can serve it. You know, it actually tell you what to do. Serve it with butter. And then basically, if you finish the recipe, you go back to this 3 line, you can always find it in recently cooked again. It will be the first one on your recently cooked, okay? To find the recipe again. Now, I already finished this one, and then I'll show you the bread later. And then now, remember I told you the Sayur Lodeh, I'm cooking one of my favorite Thermomix cookbook authors dish. And it is a guided cooking. Sorry, it is a manual cooking. Manual cooking means I cannot pick any recipe in the Cookidoo, and I manually cooked it by just using the functions in the Thermomix TM6, and also all the time, the temperature, and the speed. Okay, so now I need to measure 100 grams of shallot, right? So I go to scale. So I swipe to the left and I go to scale, and then I measure in the shallots. All right, right here, 100 grams. 100 grams of shallot. All right, okay. And then referring to the recipe, 3 cloves of garlic. Okay, and then scales again, 40 grams of turmeric. Now this is Indonesian turmeric that I grow in my garden. So, and I normally just wash it really clean. I don't remove the skin, okay? But if you like to remove the skin, by all means do it. And now we actually have function peeling. It can actually help you to peel as well, okay? But I just make sure the skin is clean, no soil, and I'll use it directly, okay? And then we use 20 grams of galanga. Galanga is also called the blue ginger, okay? But it's not blue color, okay? So, and then you can go back to 0 for sake of showing you how the scale work, and then 20 grams. I have slightly more, that's fine. And then we're gonna put in 1 lemongrass. Now, today I purposely decided not to cut my lemongrass yet, because a lot of people do not understand when recipe, because we do have a lot of Malaysian curated recipe in Cookidoo right now, and Singaporean recipe as well. So now a lot of people do not know when it's stated use the white part only. So when you get a lemongrass, it's in whole like this, right? So what do they mean by using the white part only? So I normally cut the ends, okay? And then I cut about 3.5 to 4 inches, okay? And then you remove the first layer and maybe the second layer, you know, so that you get just the right here like this, okay? This is mean the white part only. And what do I do with all this, okay? If you like, you can put it into a drawer that has smell, right? The cockroach doesn't like them. And then, or you can actually accumulate this and boil it with water and some pandan leaves, and put in some barley, you know, if you like, then it will be a lemongrass infused barley drink, okay, to reduce the heat, because suddenly in Hong Kong it's hot now as compared to like 10 days ago when it's very, very cold at 6 degrees, you know. Now we are back to like summer again. So now cut it small. So do you all understand how to get the white part of the lemongrass? Because a lot of people do not know, and then they don't know what to do when the instruction is in the Cookidoo, and then they do not know what to do with it when it's cooking, like when you're cooking a curry chicken or something, okay? This is how it is, the white part, okay? 1 lemongrass in there, white part only, and then 20 grams of dry shrimp. I have dry shrimp from Thailand that I rinse with water, clean it up. Do not soak, okay? If you soak, then all the saltiness, the natural saltiness from the sea will be soaked away, okay? So basically just rinse it will do. So about 20 grams. Sorry, I forgot to tare it, but this is 20 grams. And then we have 10 grams of belacan. Let me put the dry chili first, okay? So I have dry chili from that I bought from the Indian store. Now, some of you are maybe from Hong Kong. Where to get your dry chili? You can get it from Bawika store or Regency store, okay? And then you can order online, or you can actually go into Bawika store. The nearest to me is in Chong Kong, and you can actually get it, okay, over there. And then you just put in 2 dry chili, and this one is for later. I'll put it aside. And come back to belacan. What is belacan? Belacan is basically fermentation of a lot of dry shrimp, and it comes in the shape like this. I use this brand from Penang. Malaysia. And if you have allergy to shell food, you should not take this because it's very pungent and it immediately flare up, you know, if you have hives and stuff like that. So now it comes in the block like this. And what I normally do, because I follow my grandma, she will actually cut it into small pieces. She put it on her frying pan, and then she will actually dry it out and make it into powder like this. So I already pre-cooked this one. So for most Southeast Asian people, we grew up having this because it adds a lot of umami into your dish. But for Western or people who have not grew up knowing this ingredient, the smell is to them really horrible. So I once heard that, you know, in the Western cooking show, when you use this, I think it was Gordon Ramsay who said that if you use this, is when you have guests that come to your house and then they keep staying on and didn't want to leave. You just put this in the microwave and they will leave immediately because something smelled dead, okay? So basically, to me, it smells really good and it's salty as well, okay? But to most people, unfortunately, this is something that needs to be appreciated, just like blue cheese, okay? So I just have a very big sniff of it. So sorry. Let me just, I shouldn't have done that because, anyway, tare to zero. Remember to always tare to zero, especially when you're baking, because otherwise your ingredients will be, your dish will be sort of like, you know, too salty or too much of certain ingredients. So tare to zero and put 10 grams of this dry belacan. Now, I'm sure if you want to just cut directly on the block, it's fine as well if you do not want to process it like me, okay? Because when I dry it this way, I could actually keep it for a long time, okay? But when it's open like this in the block, then you have to keep in the fridge. So, yep, the smell is so pungent. It just went directly to my lungs. So we have 100 grams of shallot, 3 cloves of garlic, 40 grams of fresh turmeric, 20 grams of galanga, which is the blue ginger, and 1 stalk of lemongrass, the white part only. And then cut small, 20 grams of dry shrimp, just rinse, 10 grams of belacan, either block or in powder form like myself, and 2 dry chili, seeds removed. If you don't want to remove the seed, it's fine. It's just a little bit more spicy. Put in the Thermomix and then blend it, okay? So now I used to burn a lot of blender, okay? I think I have in Hong Kong burned at least 3 units because a lot of these ingredients are very hard. And with the Thermomix, it's been a lifesaver when I cook any of my Southeast Asian recipe. Now, how do I go back? I go back to home button. That's when when you're using manual cooking, you only need to use these functions right here, okay? So basically what I'm gonna do is set the timer. When you want to set timer temperature or speed, you always just press on the button itself and it will actually enlarge. That means you're on the time. So 10 seconds, 10 seconds and speed 10. Speed 10 is all the way to the end because that is the highest speed on the TM6, okay? Okay, that is after 10 seconds. And then Annie say, blend it again for 10 seconds, but scrape down first, okay? So let me show you after 10 seconds, what is the situation here? You remember everything was in the solid chunk, yeah? Like a bite size. Now it's like this, a paste. Can you see? The lighting is not very well, but let me just show you. Okay, it's now a paste like this, okay? Now, if you like a bit of texture, I'm sure Annie will approve. You can also cook at this stage, but I'm gonna just follow the recipe today because she always advise all her user or recipe follower to at least try the recipe 1 time, okay? Try the recipe 1 time and then you can omit, you can add wherever you like because you don't change other people's hard work and then say that something is not working because you decided to change the recipe, right? So my husband always tell me that. So I'm gonna follow and then I'm gonna do another 10 seconds and speed 10, okay? Okay. The texture is now more pasty. Just now it has like a, it looks more like a chunk. Now it's like a paste. Can you see? Right? So of course, in the olden times, my grandma will use the pestle and mortar, and they spend the whole afternoons with all my moms, you know, all the daughters doing that. But now we don't actually don't have to do this anymore. That's why at the beginning, before some of you joined in, I was telling my founder and also my friend that if my grandma is still alive today, she will be in shock that I'm cooking sitting down right now. You know, no one cooks sitting down in the olden age. So anyway, scrape down all the ingredient, which I already done, and then add 30 grams of oil. And then I go to scale because I need to measure the oil, right? And if you notice, the scale actually measure at 1 gram interval, okay? So I have sunflower oil here and put in 30 grams. That's fine, more or less. And then put on the lid. Now I'm going to use this function to saute. Go back to home button, set 4 minutes. And then temperature is Varoma. Oops, sorry. Okay. Temperature is Varoma. And then speed 1. Okay. To saute for 4 minutes. And I think traditionally, in order to saute, we call it the rempah paste or the spice paste, it definitely takes at least 25 minutes to 40 minutes, depending on how big the portion to fry all the ingredients. But then with the Thermomix, it has all shortened the time, and then the ingredients remain fresh, you know, and it's not overcooked, because on the stove, you cannot control the temperature. But when you're using the temperature, it's actually Varoma is at 120 degrees, and you can actually control it, and it's not, you're not going to burn your ingredients. So basically, if you cook any rempah paste or the spices paste, and if you burn it, your curry or your stew will have bitterness flavor in it. So that's why when you're using a TM6, you could actually rely on the temperature, and as long as you don't change any different and just follow the recipe, everything will turn out to be amazing. Okay, and let me just introduce the rest of the ingredients to you that I have prepared. Now, as you know, the situation in Hong Kong right now, everybody rushed to the supermarket and most of the vegetables. So I went to see my supplier yesterday, and they decided that they're going to close for 3 days because the cases are getting a little bit worrying according to them. So they're going to close for 3 days, and supermarket has limited. I think they probably stock back up again, but then the ingredients that I'm using is actually easier to be found in the wet market. So I always support my wet market supplier, okay, because they're hardworking people, and they have the freshest produce ever. Okay, so now in this recipe, the Sayur Lodeh or the Indonesian vegetable stew, we are using, the main ingredients is the cabbage. Okay, so I just use my hand to shred it, you know, after removing it. And then we have carrot, which is cut into 5 cm sticks like this. And then I have we call this sengkuang in Singapore or Malaysia, but in the Western, or the name for this is jikamas or hikamas, depending on how you pronounce it. Okay, so it's a kind of root vegetables that can be eaten fresh, and it's very sweet. Okay, so this is hikamas, and then I have snake bean or the Chinese long bean in 2 different colors, because I like the ingredients to be very, very colorful. Okay, so basically we have 200 grams of cabbage cut in chunk, and then we will have 120 grams of carrots cut in 5 cm sticks like this, and then 120 grams of hikamas or sengkuang, we call it, and then 80 grams of long beans, or we call it the snake beans. And then we will have, I used, because in Hong Kong it's very hard to get fresh coconut, unlike Malaysia, we can just go to the market and get freshly grated and squeezed out coconut juice, milk, but in here I use this brand, okay? For those of you who are watching from Hong Kong, please, it's only $13 a can, but it's more expensive in the supermarket. That's why I support all my supplier in my local community, because it's only $13. And I use this, and it's exactly 400 mils. In here is 400 grams. And then I also need some hard tofu, which I already pan fry browning like this. Hard tofu. And guess what? I was going around yesterday trying to look for tempeh. I'm not sure if you all know what is tempeh. Tempeh is a fermented soybean, okay? It's very popular in Indonesia, and lately in the past 10 years has been very popular in the Western community as well, because it's a very high protein and vegetarian item, okay? Now, so the paste is done. I will explain to you what happened to the tempeh, okay? So let's reduce the temperature and look at our paste, okay? So it smells really, really good, okay? So this is how my paste look like, okay? It's quite dry, and it smells very, very good. I can smell the belacan already, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is add in the cabbage, okay? Now, if you really want to measure, always remember when you, a lot of my clients will ask, oh, when you measure the ingredients, do you measure it when it's after you wash, or no, always measure the ingredients if you really want to measure when it's dry, okay? As in when you just, before you cut it, before you wash it, okay? Otherwise, when with water infused into it, it will be heavier, okay? So 200 grams of cabbage. Okay. Just put in here. 200 grams of cabbage. Slightly more is fine. And then we're gonna put in 120 grams of carrots. Okay. Sure. Carrot. And then let's see. Hikamas or sengkuang, we put it 120 grams. Okay. And then snake bean, 80 grams. All right. And then what else? We have 400 grams of coconut milk. This is actually 400 ml, so it's exactly 400 grams. But because in the last 10 days, the temperature actually dropped in Hong Kong, you know, so the coconut milk got solidified a little bit. So I have to keep stirring earlier. So more or less is fine. So now, Sayur Lodeh is not Sayur Lodeh without a coconut milk, okay? So coconut milk is actually one of the main ingredients as well in this recipe. So I put coconut milk, and then in the recipe, it says 500 grams of water. I'm gonna just put a bit of water into this can first, not to waste the coconut milk, and give it a stir, okay? Give it a stir. And then tare it, and then measure 500 grams. Okay, it's pretty clean. I'm gonna just add some water to it. 500 grams. Okay, there you go. So now we're gonna cook all these ingredients. So this is the first part of the ingredients because they are the fresh vegetables. So I have put in 200 grams of cabbage, 120 grams of cut carrots, 120 grams of hikamas, or we call it sengkuang, and then 80 grams of long beans, 40 grams of coconut milk, and 50 grams of water. Okay, and we're gonna cook it for, going back to the home button, remember we're doing manual cooking. So I have to manually set 8 minutes, okay? Sorry, wait. 8 minutes. And then temperature is varoma all the way to the end. And then now, that is a very important function because a lot of either my clients or user will ask, where's the reverse button? You know, the reverse button actually sit in your speed circle right here. Okay, you can see the blade here. I need to just change the blade to reverse sign. Okay, can you see the green color reverse? Now it's in reverse, and I'm gonna put spoon speed. Spoon speed is the first bar. It means stirring the ingredients for you, okay? Now for 8 minutes, it will be stirring for me. And in this 8 minutes, you can actually tidy up your kitchen, you know, you can do something else, watch a movie, you know, or play with your kids. And then I'm gonna come back to the ingredients that I was saying. So yesterday, I went to the wet market, to the Indonesian store, hoping to get tempeh. Okay, tempeh is a fermented soybean, and it's really high in protein, and it's a vegetarian vegan dish, and that's why in the last 10 years it's been become very popular in the vegan dietary, you know, and also vegetarian. That's why it has infused into the Western society to use the ingredients. But I couldn't find any tempeh at all. So therefore, what I do, I went and get taro, you know, the yam, and I cut it into the same size as my carrot, and I just lightly pan fry on my on the pan to get this kind of browning. So to just replace the tempeh because I couldn't find it. So apparently my supplier told me that the lady who make it has stopped making it for the moment, who supplied to Saikong, because in fear of traveling in and everywhere, you know, and might catch the COVID. So we have tofu right here, and then Annie suggested Annie's recipe used dry bean curd sticks, okay, but I couldn't find that as well in my market, so I used tau pok. Okay, so this is tofu puff, and instead of like frying it on the pan, I just air fry them, okay, because they are already oily in nature anyway. So I just air fry them a little bit. I like to cut them into half because I like the stew, you know, the coconut milk to be infused into the puff because it makes it yummier. So yep, this is the rest of the ingredients that we're gonna put in and cook for another 8 minutes later before we add in the vermicelli, the glass noodle, okay, or you call it the mung bean noodle as well. So this one is optional if you want to have it or not, okay? Otherwise, you can eat it with rice. Traditionally in Indonesia, we eat it with compressed rice, which is called the lontong. Yeah, so it's a very popular dish in Singapore and Malaysia. So yeah, and I'd like to know if any of you actually have any questions for me or for my colleague regarding the dish or regarding the Thermomix. And because I wouldn't be able to click and see who is actually a current user. If you want to know anything, you could actually make this time to actually ask us questions, and we will be able to help to answer your questions.
Okay, Sherlyn, well, you know what? Your dishes is really rich in all kinds of ingredients. Do you mind to roll down and just repeat what you have added in?
Okay, so sure. Basically, this is one of the Indonesian sayur lodeh. Sayur means vegetables. It's a like a milky coconut milk based vegetable stew in Indonesia. So what I do, first step was I have 100 grams of shallot. Okay, so these are the ingredients to make the paste. We call it the rempah, which is the spice paste. So 100 grams of shallot, 3 cloves of garlic, 40 grams of turmeric, fresh turmeric. Okay. Now, I'm sure if you cannot find fresh turmeric, you can replace it to maybe 1.5 teaspoons of turmeric powder, okay, if you can't find it. And then 20 grams of galanga, which is a blue ginger, widely used in Thai dishes, 20 grams, and then 1 lemongrass. If you have seen me show you just now how to get the white part of it, you have to remove the skin and cut the end of your lemongrass and only harvest about 3.5 to 4 inch of the lemongrass at the end, okay? And then 20 grams of dry shrimp, and then 10 grams of belacan. Belacan is the fermented shrimp paste. You can use it like this directly, or for me, I cooked it into powder. I dehydrate it into powder, okay? So, and then 2 dried chili. Remove the seed, but if you like it spicy, by all means keep the seed in. And then blend it for 10 seconds, speed 10, okay? That's the first blending. And then you open up the lid and you scrape down all the ingredients, and then blend it again at 10 seconds, speed 10, okay? Into a paste. And after that, you add 30 grams of cooking oil. I use sunflower oil, and then saute it at varoma 4 minutes, speed 1. Okay. And then after you saute the paste, you add in 20 grams of cabbage. That is, you can hand shred it or you can cut into chunk. Okay. And then 120 grams of carrot cut into 5 cm sticks chunk. And then 120 grams of sengkuang. We call it sengkuang in Malaysia and Singapore, but in English term, it's called the jikamas or jikamas, okay? It's a kind of root vegetables. And 80 grams of long beans, or some people call it snake bean, the long one. And then 400 grams of coconut milk and 500 grams of water. Cook 8 minutes. There you go. Cook 8 minutes. Baroma, reverse and spoon speed. Now remember, if you do not want to blend your ingredient, make sure you have reverse spoon, okay? And reverse spoon sit in your speed button, that little small circle that have the blade before you pressed it, okay? This is how jikamas look like. I was trying to ask my husband, do you pronounce it as jikamas or jikamas? He said, is it Spanish? I said, I don't know. If it's Spanish, it's jikamas, you know, so yeah. We call it sengkuang and we use this a lot, and you can actually just cut it and eat it like this, you know, with some, the Filipino like with vinegar, you know, and for us, we like it with our asam powder, you know, so it depends on what you like with your ingredients. And yes, and what else? And then after this 8 minutes, right, I will add in 1 teaspoon of salt, 200 grams of hard tofu that I pan fry lightly on my pan, like this kind of size, okay? And then put in 160 grams of tempeh, but you see, I couldn't find the fermented soybean tempeh, so I replace it with taro, okay? Replace it with taro that cut into stick, and pan fry it lightly to make browning like this. And then 160 grams of that, and 50 grams of dry bean curd sticks. Break into 5 cm length, but I can't find that, so I replace it with tofu puff, okay, or we call it tau pok, okay. So I lightly air fried it in my air fryer for 5 minutes at 160 degrees, and then I cut it into half because I liked it to be soaked all the way inside the tofu puff to get all the yummy delicious coconut curry, you know, on my puff. So I can't wait to show you. And I think our bread should be ready any moment. Okay, let me just go and check, and I'll come back. We have 26 seconds here. Yeah. So I will show you the bread shortly. Oh, gorgeous.
Wow, nice
Thank you so
pictures.
much, Sofia. The color is so nice. And for those of you who join in later, Sofia came in as an invited guest, and she actually made the calamansi juice. And it's so refreshing and it's so beautiful. And that's the picture of the calamansi juice. Okay. Now, the first step is done. Wow, it has the soup. I do not know how I can move my MacBook to show you. I'm not going to show you right now. Let me just put the rest of the ingredients. Okay. So I'm going to add in, oh, you know what? I'm dying to show you. I'm sorry. Let me see. Can you see? Can't help it. I need to show you. Look at the color. Is it beautiful? It's like a matching with the calamansi, you know. So, and it's nutritious. Let me put back my, did I put it too far away? Okay, let me see. All right, now let's get on with the recipe. We're gonna add in 1 teaspoon of salt, okay? 1 teaspoon of salt. 1 teaspoon of salt, and then remember 200 grams of hard tofu that is pan fried. Okay, you can measure it. Or now, for me, I'm not going to put in the taro first because the taro is completely cooked. Okay, when I lightly pan fry on my pan, because I didn't want it to break and infuse into the soup. So I'm gonna just throw it in at the last 4 minutes, and then I'm gonna just put in the tau pok, okay, or the tofu puffed. Okay, put it in. You'll be amazed how much this curry can feed how many people, because it's a very big dish. Now let me see, and then I already put this in, and I'm gonna put the taro that I replaced with for tempeh in the last 4 minutes, okay? Because it's cooked. So same thing, I'm gonna set 8 minutes. 8 minutes, varoma again, and then reverse spoon speed, okay? So, yep, add in the glass noodle, I will just put it into my thermal server, okay? And then just pour the curry in there. So I have taro that I decided not to put in first because I didn't want it to be very soft, because it's already semi-cooked. Some of them is already cooked through, and cut it in size like the carrot, okay? So, and I'm going to put it in, and it's going to be ready. And the bread is going to be ready as well in about 5 minutes. And I will show you how the bread looks like, okay? Let me just go to the kitchen and actually just grab it, okay? Just a minute. Okay. Let me just show you this. Can you see?
Nice.
Yep. So I did make a batch before our cooking show as well. I'll show you when I. So you can see the bread is actually quite soft in texture, unlike a lot of other gluten-free bread. Remember, there is rice grain that we pulverize in our Thermomix for 1 minute at speed 10. Okay, so if I tear it like this, you can see how soft it is. Okay, can you see? Right, it's like exactly like the bread texture, and it smells like bread as well. Okay, now you all can, thank you so much, lovely bread, and you can see that it's cooking for the next 6 minutes, and the dish is actually done. Now, as of this moment, I can see that Annie is still staying with us. So now I actually have all of Annie's cookbook. Okay, and this is the last cookbook that I have, but the rest are in online because I couldn't get physical book from her. And she is the recipe content provider for all her cookbook. So she's a Thermomix user as well. And I have learned so much from all the recipe that she has actually presented in all her cookbook. So if you like to purchase a book, you can actually go to Kobo as well and find her book. And for all my clients, you can actually reach out to me. I can give you the link. And as of this moment, maybe we can just get Annie to introduce herself. Annie, oh my gosh, I cannot imagine you sit in here and support me. Thank you so much.
You have to unmute yourself. Yes, Annie.
All right. Okay. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. I had 2 Facebook Live this morning. I had one at 11:30 in the morning, which is open for everyone. And then I had a closed group for sourdough cooking, sourdough making, basically for the paid students. So pretty tired. 状態唔係幾好啊, almost going for a nap already. So can hear me, right? Can hear me
Yes.
well, right?
Yes.
So thank you for having me, and I'm very happy to tune in to stay and cook together with you all. Thanks to Puyi. Puyi, this is the first time I see your face, actually.
Hi.
So so 瞓覺嘅狀態啊, I already dressed down already, and
I just want to show you the bread.
very nice bread, very nice. Is this gluten free as well?
No, but the best part is not about the gluten free or not. The best part is when your husband bake it. You just need to tell them this is the recipe. Please prepare.
Yes,
If they can do it, everyone he wants to be on the camera, so you can
see him.
So while you are doing all these things, and then he quietly doing the bread, all he did was just searching online, and of course we give him a bit of tips and that, but he can cook this Ah, you can just see. Do you see that? Oh, it's just so nice, And then you must train your family, everyone, with Thermomix, and you can relax.
Yes, and there are so many Cookidoo. I think over 60,000 recipes
So now it's
available.
almost 80,000.
Almost 80. So for those of you who are multi-language, you can read Chinese, you can read Spanish, so you can have access to even more recipes than some of us here who can only read English. Okay, so yeah.
Very quickly, I just want to share with you that Annie has volume 1 to up to volume 8 her own recipe book, and then she has 2 more of her 2 gorgeous daughter, and that 2 gorgeous daughters book are all the children's favorite dishes, like a teenager and preteen, so, and it's amazing how they can also cook on their own. So basically the 2 daughters are also avid cook like her mom.
I trained them.
The other one is a baker, natural baker, yeah. So, and Simone is like born to be like the next Master Chef Junior, or Master Chef, who knows. And yes, and for those of you who wants the link to her online book, if you don't want to keep a physical book, I have all her 6 books right here. The other 2, I need to go home and get it, so. And it's been really amazing. So basically, we are not short of any recipe. Like I said, we are reaching 80,000 different recipes right now on Cookidoo, and we have so many Malaysian recipes as well, Malaysian and Singapore, and also Chinese recipes. So if you find cooking Chinese dish is very daunting, I tell you, with the Thermomix, it is like you cannot go wrong unless you do not read. Okay, you do not read or you do not follow the instruction. Otherwise,
Sorry, Sherlyn. Now even you cannot read on the Cookidoo, there are video teaching you how to
cooking the
Anyway, I think Hong Kong, we have a few copies of Xavier's book too. So you're really dying to have a copy of hers. You can go straight to our office and pick it up soon.
Yeah, we have volume 3 in Hong Kong. Okay,
thanks a lot.
I almost forgot my replacement of tempeh, the taro. Yeah, but it's okay. It's already pre-cooked.
If you have a chance, you really should try tempeh. It's really like Sherlyn said, the in thing for the vegan followers. Yeah, it has a funky taste because it is fermented.
I like it too. I like it too.
But I can't find it. There is nobody unless I go to Kowloon City, which is too far for me, and I don't want to travel out. So yeah,
I think it's great that you know how to replace some of your ingredients.
Because the taro is almost like the same texture. It's just taro will get very soft.
It's starchy. Yeah, it's starchy.
That's correct. And then it will dissolve, right? But then tempeh will not dissolve, you see. So therefore, I decided to put only at the last minute. Okay.
Hey, just want to share with you. Nowadays we don't have enough. Let's say ingredients. Running out and all these things. Yesterday I make my chickens thick stock. So I have some meat that is really, I get the best out of it already, and then still left over some meat. You know what I did? I made into chicken floss. So you know what? We become very, very smart, becomes 精明選擇, we are very smart in using whatever we have. You know what? Nothing wasted with Thermomix. So that's what I'm so excited.
Okay, who wants to look at my
all right.
Yeah, I'm cooking my favorite person in the world. She literally lives in my kitchen. Sorry, Annie, I have to say that. I have Annie's face in my kitchen every day, okay? Because it's like my, like kitchen goddess, inspire me to cook many different things for my kids and inspire me to be good and have good energy, So thank you so much, Annie. And I think she will say I very 夸张 her all the time, but I do like to be grateful and always remember to be having gratitude, So now let me show you how amazing this dish look like. Okay, it's amazing. Look at that. And it's a whole bowl full on your Thermomix bowl. Okay, so I think if you're having a party, I'm sure you have other food, right? So this can fit at least 10 people easily, So let me just pour it out. Now I have the glass noodle that is already soaked with hot water. So 45 grams of glass noodle, if you want to use, soak it into hot water for 5 minutes. I'm going to just put it into my thermal server, okay? All right, pour it into my thermal server. I'm gonna have the 8 of my spatula, and look at the color because it's from the turmeric, right? I
Lovely.
don't know. Yeah, I am always, look at that. Smells so good.
It's really very yummy, the soup actually, because of the coconut milk has the natural sweetness, yeah. And some of the vegetables, especially the the sengguang, the sagot.
Yes,
You call
correct.
sagot in Hong Kong?
Yes.
Sagot. Yeah.
Yeah, that one is naturally sweet, so it's actually very, very nice.
Okay, you can
Do you
see.
know that only with Thermomix, I learned that without meat, dishes are so easily cooked with flavor. You know, in the past, if you ask me to make a vegetable stock, I kind of no soup. I would like, will that taste nice? You know, but with Thermomix, really, really good. That is eye-opening when I have the Thermomix.
And it is especially good with curry because it is because we blend everything fresh, the ingredients. We are not buying paste. And then when we cook, it is like everything is closed up, right? So there is very little oxidation. So in a way, the flavors are like really locked into it. So I especially like to use Thermomix for cooking curry purpose.
Yeah.
So you can see, look at the dish, it's a whole bowl. I cannot even close my
Why you need a 2.61?
But the thing is, too bad last period I didn't get it. But anyway, it's
Don't worry, you can get it. You can get it.
so look at this. It's a whole bowl right here of the Sayur Lodeh. You can serve it with lontong, which is a compressed rice. But today we are using the glass noodle, which is lower in cup. Okay, so there you go. We have this gluten-free bread, and it's really, really soft. Okay, and this recipe is in the Cookidoo. Is guided cooking from step 1 all the way to finish. Okay, give it a try. It is so good. Okay, and they are in this kind of size, so you can see.
Lovely.
Yeah,
it will go very well with your curry, isn't it?
I think it can if you like. But Sayur Lodeh normally you
With
either
rice,
eat with compressed rice, you know, or with noodle if you like, you know. So I can't wait. This is gonna be my dinner. Oh, someone raised hand. Bang. What do you want to ask? Hello. You can unmute yourself. Oh, someone is cooking. Who's that? Is that Maria? I know one of my. Bang is cooking.
Yeah, I'm cooking. Almost done.
Wow.
I make the which one? The dukkha. You know what dukkha? Some I make dukkha for the toppings.
Yes, dukkha. Yes, I know. It's a Middle Eastern spice.
Yes, and then some I use the oatmeal.
Very clever. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Yes, dukkha is such a vibrant spice, you know. And I remember when I was in the vacation one time, you just dip the olive oil and dip into the dukkha spices and eat it like this, you know. It's so good.
Yes, yes. Yeah, the bread is soft. The bread is soft. I already tried. See?
Is it good?
Yeah, it's good. It's soft inside and crunchy outside.
Wow.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. So yummy. I can't wait.
So you all have to, so this is the end of my cooking show today. I really hope that you all enjoyed it. And first of all, I really want to thank Kui for being my moderator today and being the supporting role, which is so amazing because we don't success just alone, you know, or we don't live in the world alone. We need so many people in our life who are inspiration, especially in this trying time, you know. I can tell you one thing, joy is absolutely a choice, okay? Choose joy all the time. Yes. Because everything else that's happening right now, especially in Hong Kong, is beyond our control. When it's beyond your control, do not think about it. Do not even find a solution until it happens, like something really kicked in, you know. Just live every day, carpe diem, like, you know, seize the day and be happy, cook more, you know. And that's why my Thermomix, I'm so happy, and I'm attending classes with Annie as well, you know. and grateful having Annie in my kitchen every day, and grateful for Sofia for jumping in just last minute to agree to do a calamansi drink to match the color, because the color is really green and yellow today. And
your clothes also.
Yes, and thank you so much. And then I think it's a great success if later when we go back and watch the live and see how it goes, because this is also the first time our team doing live. And I'm so grateful to be given this opportunity and taking this step to do it, because I have so many people who inspire me in my life. I can't mention all the names. And thank you so much to all my clients. You know that I love all of you. And if you have anything that you face, you know, you can always reach out, and I will do my best to handle it. And to all my consultant and advisor in Hong Kong who has been so supportive, I thank you so much. Okay. And I hope you all enjoy all the dishes, and keep cooking, be happy, and choose joy, and have affirmation every day that we are going to be okay.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much,
All
Annie.
right. Thank you. Well done. You want to stay back and take a picture together? All right. Yeah, there we go. Hey, Sophia, where is your drink? Finished already? Well done, Sherlyn. Well done, Sofia. Thanks a lot, Annie, for coming. Maybe one day we invite Annie, maybe do a show together with us. You know, we can do across the border, and then exciting, isn't it? Yeah. So thank you very much, everyone. I hope that you can spread the joy. Choose a recipe, okay? Choose a recipe, choose joy, and choose cook with your family, okay? And there are so many things that you can do it with your children. So yes, let's be happy about it. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. I don't know how to stop it. Okay.